Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with a new episode of a series that I'm going to do called Forgotten G.O.A.T.s, where we talk about some of the greatest basketball players of all time who are sort of, I hate to use the word undervalued, but we'll definitely use the word undercollected in the hobby. So first and foremost, I've decided to start these episodes with Hakeem Olajuwon. So I'm going to switch you over. We're going to talk a little bit about Hakeem Olajuwon's historical achievements. We'll talk about kind of where he ranks in the grand scheme of things as far as NBA centers of all time and NBA players of all time. He's certainly in the conversation with some of the greatest NBA players that have ever lived. Then we'll take a look at what I own of Hakeem Olajuwon, because I like to be transparent. It's not a sexy compilation of Hakeem Olajuwon cards. I assure you I am not trying to hype Hakeem Olajuwon cards. The cards that I have are not going to go up or down based on this video, I assure you. But I always like to share with you what I do own. Plus, it's fun to kind of take a little inventory of what you own in any particular player. So we'll look at my Olajuwon cards. Then we'll switch over to Card Ladder, and we'll look at some of the highest sold Hakeem Olajuwon cards of all time. And then we'll look at some cards that, if you are interested in getting into the Hakeem Olajuwon market, some of the best cards that you can go take a peek at, some of the best cards you can look at. And then we'll click over to eBay, and we're going to search. We're going to search for some of the highest price Olajuwon cards out there, just to kind of get a vibe for his high-end stuff. What's high-end, if there are any Hakeem Olajuwon high-end cards. And we'll just kind of take a quick peek at what you can and can't get for your money with Hakeem Olajuwon. And then just basically a way to, it's entertaining because we're talking about one of the greatest of all time. And if you like talking about basketball, you get that. But it's also educational because we're going to learn a little bit about Hakeem Olajuwon basketball cards that are available and that have sold in the past. So let's switch over and take a look. I've got basketballreference.com pulled over. This is always my absolute go-to resource when it comes to comparing players based on their historical resume or what their historical achievements were, not only in the NBA but also college and whatever. So I've got Olajuwon pulled up, and this is always helpful. Basketball Reference puts this section up here where my cursor is. I'm not sure if you can see it. Obviously, if a player is ever in the Hall of Fame, you've got a big yellow bar, so you know right away. Clearly, Olajuwon, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a 12-time All-Star, 2-time rebounding champ, 2-time NBA title winner during Jordan's exodus while he was playing baseball for the Birmingham Barons, 3 times block champ, 12 times All-NBA, 9 times All-Defensive, 2 times Defensive Player of the Year, 1984 All-Rookie Team, 2 times Finals MVP, the same years he won the rings, obviously, 1993 NBA MVP, and he was a member of the NBA 75th anniversary team. In addition, they don't have career leaders, but he is the all-time leader in block shots and will never be caught, period, end of story, unless something drastically changes with the rules in the NBA. He will be the NBA's all-time block shot leader when Brian from Cajun Cardboard is in his grave. If we look at his historical numbers, these are going to be a little bit skewed because he played way past his prime for a couple years. In fact, he even played a couple years probably with teams you're not even going to remember. He was a career 21.8, 11.1, 2.5 assists. His PER for his career was an absurd, absolutely preposterous 23.6. And just an absolutely fantastic basketball player. If we scroll down here, as you can see, whenever a career takes up almost more than can fit on your screen, you know you got it in, right? You know you had a long career. Every season where he was an All-Star, you'll see a little star next to him. He was making the All-Star team pretty much every year from age 22 to age 34. For some reason here, when he was 28, he only played 56 games. So I'm assuming all of the games he missed must have been in the first half of the season, because that year he didn't make the All-Star team. But let me tell you, he was bringing it in 1990 because he was still 21 points, 13.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and led the league in blocks at almost 4 per game. So I think he missed the All-Star game probably because of these 26 games he missed. They were probably in the first half of the season. Just astonishing numbers, astounding numbers. Anytime they lead the league in a category, they're listed over here in bold. What I was saying about about his, he played a couple years too long. He had 3 years at age 37, 38, and 39 where he actually played for the Raptors that last year, where he averaged 10, 11, and 7. And so those kind of bring down his averages a little bit. But that's it for Olajuwon. There's no question where he ranks, as far as what group of centers he would be ranked at. What I've done is I've pulled up ESPN's all-time greatest centers list, okay? This is just ESPN, and again, I know it's just talking heads, but it's just kind of fun conversation piece. They list the top 10 centers of all time. No surprise, they've got the captain, number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6-time MVP. Number 2, they've got Wilt. That's who I also would personally rank second. A lot of people would have Russell. They have Russell third, one of the greatest winners of all time, one of the greatest rebounders and defenders of all time. They've got Shaq fourth, and this is where it gets a little dicey. They've got Shaq 4, and then they've got our guy, the forgotten GOAT, Hakeem Olajuwon, fifth, right, with a beautiful picture of him putting the ball up over a couple of New York Knicks who are trying futilely to defend him, one of which being Patrick Ewing. So the ESPN's got Olajuwon ranked as the 5th greatest center of all time. Bleacher Report had a breakdown of the centers, and they have Olajuwon ranked ahead of Shaq, ahead of Moses, ahead of Russell, as the 3rd greatest center of all time, behind only the captain Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Dipper Wilt Chamberlain. So Wilt the Stilt 2, they have the Dream 3rd, right? That's a little ambitious and a little aggressive. If you put him on a court, do I think Olajuwon would have destroyed Bill Russell? Yes, I do. I think he would have left nothing but an empty carcass and a bunch of blood on the ground. But again, based on historical resume, you've got to give some weight to what Bill Russell did from the team perspective and how he made that team better. Now let's go to the most recent, the most talked about, the most controversial, but also I think the most relevant recent list, which is the NBA top 75 after 75 years. And on this list, Hakeem Olajuwon is ranked 13th. So he is the top 15 player of all time, according to ESPN. Now, not only did they do a top 75 list, but ESPN ranked them in order. And in this list, Hakeem Olajuwon is the 13th greatest player of all time, regardless of position, okay? He is right behind Kevin Durant and behind Shaq, which, again, we can revisit that. That's really, honestly, a 2-hour video where you go Olajuwon versus Shaq. I've done it. It's a lot. They're very similar. There's a lot of pros and cons to both. The argument is there. They'll always be linked inextricably. A big word for a Cajun, inextricably, meaning they cannot be separated. They will always be mentioned together. But he's ranked ahead of some all-time greats, Dr. J. He's ranked ahead of Moses Malone, another one of the probably 6 or 7 greatest centers of all time. He's ranked ahead of Steph Curry on this list. He's ranked ahead of Dirk, arguably the 2nd best power forward of all time. Argue what you want, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th best power forward of all time behind Tim Duncan. He's ranked ahead of Giannis, who's not had quite enough time, ranked ahead of Jerry West, Elgin Baylor. So you get the gist, right? This is a guy who is undervalued and underappreciated in the hobby, in my point. From my perspective. That's just me. Now let's look at what I own, right? So I'm not this Olajuwon super collector out here trying to hype my cards. And again, this episode of Forgotten GOATs is based on Olajuwon. We're going to do an episode on some other guys. I'm not going to give it away, but similar type guys from sometimes a similar era who I just think have been kind of lost in the shuffle in the hobby. And if you're looking to start a PC of somebody, I think Olajuwon was in a great era to do that. He shares a lot of common inserts with Jordan and Shaq and some of those guys, even into the mid-90s. So we're going to look at that in a second. But right here, I want to show you what I own. You're going to see a huge 86 Fleer, tilt. Just so you guys know, I own 3 86 Fleer PSA 8 sets with stickers. So that's going to be 6 of those cards that you see. I own 2 PSA 9 complete sets with stickers, so that's going to be another 4 cards, right? Olajuwon, these are all rookie cards and XRCs. The sticker's considered an XRC. And then I own the PSA 10 rookie card right here, and I own the PSA 10 86 Fleer sticker with a top 5% eye appeal, which, in my opinion, I think this is the greatest Hakeem Olajuwon sticker on planet Earth. It's got the PWCC 5% eye appeal, and believe it or not, I have recently moved both of these cards into the PWCC Weekly Auction. So those cards are both going to be selling in the next couple weeks with PWCC because I'm taking my collection in another direction. So those cards will be for sale and available for those of you. I guess from that perspective, it is a hype. I am a hype beast. Anyway, I've got this 2012 Prism Hakeem Olajuwon PSA 10 because I am collecting the 2012 Prism base set in PSA 10 condition. For those of you who don't know, that 2012 Prism set has a 50 card Legends section. Cards number 151 through 200 are Legends. And some of them aren't really Legends. They're just old dudes like Kelly Tripucka's in there. I'm not calling Kelly Tripucka a legend. His hair was legendary. The baby oil he put on his hairy body before games to freak out his opposing players, that's legendary. But Kelly Tripucka was not a legend in the NBA, but he's in that list. So Olajuwon's in there, so he's in the 2012 Prism, so that's why I have that card. And then if I go back, lastly, I have, one of my pride and joys, what I think is probably one of Olajuwon's best cards in the entire hobby, his 1997 PMG Red. This card is serial number to 100 for those of you not familiar. There are actually only 90 of them because 10 of the 100 serial numbered are actually PMG greens, which I could never afford. So this is his BGS 8, good looking copy, great centering, really just a really good looking copy right there. One day I'm going to get this reslabbed into a PSA slab, but that's a story for another video. So that's what I own in Olajuwon. Let's move on. Now we're going to look at the most expensive Hakeem Olajuwon cards ever sold according to Card Ladder sales history. So I'm not going to type in Akeem or Hakeem. So for those of you who don't know, who are young, his name was Hakeem Olajuwon, A-K-E-E-M, and then he changed it when he converted to become a Muslim. He changed his name to Hakeem and just added an H. And so you've heard of guys in the past that have changed their names, right, for religious purposes, like Lou Alcindor became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Well, Hakeem just added a letter and became Hakeem Olajuwon. So if we look at his highest sold cards, again, some of these are going to be misleading. Like this is not even an Olajuwon card. So the highest selling Olajuwon card of all time was actually the card that I just showed you in my vault. It was a PSA 10 1986 Fleer rookie. It happened right square, not surprisingly, smack dab in the middle of the 2021 bubble when 86 Fleer went nuts, and well, really all cards went nuts, but especially 86 Fleer PSA 10 went nuts. These next two on the list are going to be PSA 9 sets, so that's not going to apply. Next three are all sets. Here's another Olajuwon rookie card that sold for $17,655, another Olajuwon, but I really wanted to kind of take you guys in another direction and show you some off the radar. So I'm going to keep scrolling. You're going to see an insanely heavy flavor, right? So here's our first non-Hakeem rookie card or rookie sticker. This is his 2020 National Treasures 1/1 Logo Man Auto. That's a really cool looking card. You can always click it and pull it up on Card Ladder, and you can click it again. That doesn't make it much bigger there. So, but there's your first non-Hakeem 1986 rookie card. We've got a sticker in here that actually went for almost $12,000 at one point. And again, just after the first quarter bubble of 2021. Here's another National Treasures Logo Man. This one from 2016, patch auto, 1/1. Anyway, just to give you guys an idea, look, we're all the way down here. If you take out his rookie card, if you say I want to collect Hakeem Olajuwon, we haven't even gotten to a single card. There's not one single Olajuwon card that has sold for $10,000 in history, at least as far as I can tell, that wasn't a 1/1 Logo Man and or his greatest rookie card, right? Now, I will be a little bit of a spoiler. I paid more than this amount for his PMG Red, but it wasn't a public sale. So for that reason, Card Ladder doesn't have it pulled up. So you can spend over $10,000 on an Hakeem Olajuwon card. Those do exist. Like obviously his PMG is going to be significantly more. It's probably going to be a six-figure card if I had to guess. But what I'm getting at is Hakeem Olajuwon's not the most expensive dude out there in the hobby to collect if you wanted to do so. So I've gone back into Card Ladder and I've got it sorted by ladder. These are the cards that Card Ladder has for Hakeem Olajuwon. And you know what would have been better? I'm going to take you down here to Index. Let's go to Indexes, and we're going to go into Player Indexes, and we're going to type in Olajuwon. And we're going to click him, and now you can look at what his index has done, right? So his Hakeem Olajuwon, the index over the last, let's look at the last year. It's actually down, significantly down, like way down. Part of the reason is most of the index is probably going to be comprised with his 86 Fleer. And like I just explained to you, his 86 Fleer exploded first quarter of 2021, and it's come down heavy like every other 86 Fleer player has. But if we look, let's say at the last 3 months, it should be very steady. It's actually up 9%. Maybe somebody did a video just like this. Over the last 6 months, his stuff is steady, right? That's kind of what we expect from these living legends, these forgotten GOATs that we're looking at. But if we look at his cards, this would be a great way to look at the value of his cards. We can look at Olajuwon's cards and we can sort it by value from most expensive to least expensive as far as what's in card ladder. So you'll see here's some great options from the 90s to collect. His 1997 Upper Deck first game used jersey, his 1987 Fleer PSA 10. So an alternative to collecting his $10,000 rookie card is his $3,091 second year 87 Fleer, which is an extremely rare card. Look, I'm going to click it. It's got a pop 36. So if you can find that, not a bad card to put in your collection. His Ultra Stars Gold, absurdly difficult pack odds to pull that card. And so you're going to see, I'm going to just show you some variations. Ultra Stars Gold, the game jersey, his Hot Shots die cut from 1996 Flair Showcase is awesome. $635. $635. This is a pop 4 in PSA 10. $635 is what Card Ladder estimates the value. That may be off because it hasn't sold since 2018, where it sold for $80. But what a beautiful card. What a recognizable, iconic insert from the 90s. That Jordan card in PSA 10 for Flair Hot Shots is probably a $50,000 card. I'm guessing completely. We can go look it up on Card Ladder, but just to put it in perspective, Olajuwon is 1/50th of the price of Jordan. Another Olajuwon card is Star Power Supreme. So all of these really badass insert sets from the 90s and these really fascinating parallels. 93 Finest Refractors, for instance. Those sets often include Hakeem Olajuwon. So you can go find those Jordan sets if you're a Jordan collector. Here's an example, perfect example. Flair Hot Numbers, right? So 95 Flair Hot Numbers. Olajuwon's in that. 1992 Stadium Club Beam Team. Olajuwon's in that. Look how cheap that Beam Team PSA 10 is. It just sold a month ago for $250 for a PSA 10 featuring this forgotten GOAT, Hakeem Olajuwon. That should give you some perspective of just how cheap his cards are, competitive advantage. So now let's go to eBay. If we go to Olajuwon, I type in Olajuwon. I don't want to put his first name in, and I don't want to miss cards that aren't PSA 10. So I just type in Olajuwon under trading cards, and this is what I pull up. First is not Justin Olajuwon, shared autographs and stuff like that, but they've got a Row Zero Masterpiece 1/1 Flair Showcase here for $39,000. And again, some of these prices are going to be exorbitant and absurd, but you've got his Star XRC in here. People are going to call it a true rookie card. Whatever, buddy. That's his XRC from Star. You've got a retro PMG. It is not worth that much money, so don't be misled. The Star, you're going to see a lot of 86 Fleer. Here's a really badass Olajuwon Yao Ming dual patch auto card. Again, some of these are going to be super expensive. Barkley and Olajuwon, when they teamed up to chase a title, $10,000 there. More Olajuwons. Olajuwon Shaq dual auto. Olajuwon 87 Fleer. There you go. $8,000. You saw the last one was like $3,900 or something like that. So autographed Olajuwon cards. A lot of autographed 86 Fleer Olajuwons. Some patch auto Olajuwon stuff from Exquisite, 2006 Exquisite. So a lot of just rubies. Olajuwon's got so many options out there to collect. That's really what this video is about. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit more about Olajuwon, where he fits historically, where he's ranked, and just how far off the radar he is. Like I'm gonna do this Forgotten GOATs series, and I'm gonna do a lot of other players. Y'all are gonna enjoy these. I'm telling you, they're all gonna be similarly structured. Who they were, what are their credentials, where do they rank as far as lists and experts and media and just historical analysts. And then what do I have? Because I don't want to lie to y'all. I want to show you what I got, and I'm not a pumper and dumper here. I don't have anything to dump really. And then we're going to talk about sales, their sales history and card ladder. How high are their high end cards? What are the records that their cards have sold for? And then what can we go get? If I wanted to collect Olajuwon, what can I go get? My advice, and I can apply this to a lot of guys that played in the 90s, is What I would do if you want to start PCing Olajuwon, go find all those insert sets and all those parallels that Jordan had from the 90s, and then just see if Olajuwon's in those sets. And if you see a card that looks really fantastic, grab it. You know what's the beautiful about Olajuwon? Most of the Jordan stuff is already graded, but with Olajuwon, you can go pick up his raw stuff. Go grade it with PSA, grade it yourself. It doesn't matter if those cards are PSA 8. If you pick up a Star Power Supreme or a Hot Shots or a Take It to .net or something like that, it doesn't matter if those cards grade PSA 8. They're still fantastic cards because they're impossible pack odds, they're SSP, and or they're serial numbered. And any cards like that in a PSA slab, even if they're just slabbed authentic, what a great opportunity to go start a PC of one of the greatest players of all time and just slab it up and just have fun and enjoy it doing it on a relatively decent budget. You don't have to break the bank like you do with Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, or God forbid Zion, Ja, Doncic, LaMelo, all of these ultra modern guys. Go pick up one of the greatest centers of all time for a fraction of the price. That's it, guys. Rant over. This is a old man, spewing, complaining about undervalued this, that. Anyway, I probably should, take some of my own medicine and take some of my own advice here and actually go out there and pick up a couple of Olajuwon cards instead of just telling people how easy it is to do it themselves. Again, I'm not giving investment advice. I'm not saying go out there and buy Olajuwon. He's going to the moon. He's probably not. He hasn't. If he hasn't yet, and the guy's rookie year was like in the mid 80s, so it's been like 35, 40 years, it's probably not going to go to the moon. So that's not a reason to go out and pick him up. I'm just saying he's somebody that's underappreciated, not just in the hobby, but he's underappreciated in the hobby, but very well recognized as one of the greatest centers of all time. And then obviously you've got the big man bias. Like, centers, generally speaking, are undervalued, right? Jokic is a great example. Embiid's a great example of modern centers who are undervalued. So anyway, that's it, guys. I just wanted to put that out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for subscribing. Keep watching. Check out this end screen if you want to see some more videos that I release. I'm doing, different stuff all the time. I've got a million things going through my mind. I just turn on the camera and start screaming at the TV or at the monitor. So thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby, and peace.